Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lizzie and I'm just here to share some information that I received last week. Well, I think it's almost been 2 weeks now. I've been meaning to record this video sooner than later, but life, you know how it is. For those that are new here, welcome. For those that have already been here, welcome. My name is Lizzie again. I just want to introduce myself. I am an intuitive energy channel. I am also a Reiki practitioner and a QHHT intern. I am here to help people on their life path journey. Regardless of where you are in life, I'm just here to spread information and awareness and spread joy in a way that can help you guys. My intention by sharing this information is so that you guys can navigate your life with more awareness, with more ease and flow, to where you're able to come back to yourself and have this reflection come in, like the self-awareness that helps guide you in a way that is more, what is the words I'm looking for? Like more natural, more easy flow and going, where you're not feeling like you're always looking outside of yourself for the answers. I want to pull you guys back into yourselves and kind of sit with the stuff that has been like at the bottom for a while and do it in a space that is safe and natural for you. And this is what this medicine that's coming in is talking about. It's the snake medicine, specifically the yellow eyelash viper. This was a dream that I had, I want to say, again, I think it's been a little bit over 2 weeks. Kind of sat with this dream. I was trying to internalize what was the message, how, why is this coming up now? And so in my dream, I was sitting in like a garden and I had no shoes on. I was sitting on on the edge of something. I don't even know what it's called. I should have looked that up, but I didn't. But it's like almost like sitting on something made out of cement, kind of round, and a tree could be there. So it's like a raised bed. Yeah, like a raised garden bed, but it's a tree there, and I'm sitting on the edge where the cement is, and my feet are on the grass. And I'm chilling and I'm feeling relaxed. And off to the distance from the left side, I see this yellow viper like swiggling its way to me, and I could see it, but I don't get up and run. I just sit there and I'm thinking like, man, I should really, really lift up my feet so it doesn't get me. But before I could even lift my feet, it bites me at my feet. But it's coming in from the left, which lets me know it's like this really feminine, divine energy coming in to help transform, transmute, heal, and really, really bring in those energies of like death and rebirth. So that's one indication there. Another thing is the yellow itself is like, I associate yellow with like sunshine and vibes and emotions and all that, which is like solar plexus. So like how you feel about yourself, how you feel inside. This is going to be a lot of reflective energies coming in. But the funny thing is, because I got bitten, I was like led to checking out what is the venom, like what does it do, what does it affect truly? Because when dreams happen, and this is something you should really take in for yourself, like dreams aren't always literal, but they give you information. And because this dream was so vivid in color and so like out of nowhere, and I kid you not, like when I got bit, I woke up in my bed and I went like this. I literally shivered, but I didn't feel the bite at my foot. It felt like the energy went straight to my heart and bam, you know, like that song off of Hey Arnold, I saw your face and bam, or wow, or whatever. But like this really hit my heart big time. And I was just like this. And I remember even waking up that morning and just feeling like this shook me up literally for a reason. And I was thinking, okay, maybe this is for me. And then when I was like sitting with it a little bit more, I go, maybe I need to share this information, but I didn't know how. So when I finally made time to do a channel message, I think it was on a Monday, and Archangel Ariel came in and she was talking about how we really need to call back our sovereignty, our power, and really, really declare that for ourselves. And if you haven't caught my live on Instagram, definitely check that out because there's a whole declaration. And I think I'm going to put it on the notes of this video so you guys have it too, because I feel like it all ties in, and it's meant to come in to support you. So calling your power back, getting in a space where you're not letting it leak out, or not just leak out. It's like sometimes we don't even realize we're giving it away because we're so used to doing that and not wanting to take like action in the moment, or to hurt someone's feelings, so we kind of let them decide for us. But this is about you coming back to your sovereignty. This is about you calling in those energies of support so that you're able to move forward with, again, this awareness, this confidence. This is next level stuff. And these are what those energies are about. So I'm going to reel it back to the part of the dream when I was talking about looking up the venom. Now I have my notes here because I want to make sure I talk about these things in a way where I can break it down and you guys can internalize it in a way where you can reflect and go back into yourself. So like really paying attention, like what's been going on in your life the last 2 weeks, and what's going to happen, what's happening within the next coming months, like what is shifting, how is it coming in. Now, because this was a bite from a viper. Vipers have fangs that fold when their mouth is closed, but they come in and they just claw in. But this specific viper's venom isn't super toxic. You can live through it. So know that it's gonna feel like really uncomfortable because this venom, I wrote it down, so give me a second. This venom it's a neurotoxin, so it hits the nervous system, but it's also a hemostatic. I'm going to write it in my notes, which slows down the blood. Now, the neurotoxin is going to hit your nervous system, and this is how that medicine's going to come in. But the way that I was shown by my guides and Archangel Ariel and Michael, like when I was channeling and bringing in that energy to understand more my dream, Ariel really stepped forward and was like, look, this is going to hit the nervous system, and it's going to be with things associated with the heart. And she had me feel that again. And she goes, things associated with loved ones. So like friends, family, situationships, anything like that you have been dealing with for a while that haven't been addressed and kind of just left on the back burner. Things are going to be said to you, and it's going to shock your nervous system. And I'm going back to like me going through my experience personally. I had that dream. I had an experience with family. I didn't realize that my nervous system was going haywire big time. Like it caught on to things that I mentally, emotionally was not fully aware of. Like I have this awareness to it, but like it threw it off. Like it caught on to these frequencies and these vibrancies that really made me go off kilter. And I had to self-regulate. And how I did that for myself personally is I had to create space. I literally had to have space from people, had to have space in nature, had to have space to allow my emotions to come up, to allow my thoughts to come up, to allow myself to really, really deep dive. But I did it in steps that were healthy for me. So I needed physical space from other people. I created that. I took a drive. I went to the mountains, my hiking area, and I sat near water, and I put my feet in the water, and I sat there for about 2 hours just in silence. Well, not silence. I was listening to music. So I was listening to music that made me feel good. And I just kind of sat there, took in nature, and was like not trying to think about the situation. I just wanted to get my body into a space where it could just feel at peace. Once I was able to self-regulate, came home, took a nap, did that. Then I gave myself again the next day to kind of like sit down, journal about this, get it out of me in a way that was healthy. So on paper, I cried. I allowed myself to feel the feelings. I allowed to them rise up. And sometimes it's hard for some people to do this, and I understand because it gets really uncomfortable. So what at this moment when I was doing, it was automatic writing and just writing out my feelings, I asked like, if I'm supposed to share this at one point, how can I tell people that have a hard time expressing their emotions? Like, getting something out like this if they kind of stop and they just don't want to feel. And I got some really good advice, and this is from Palladian, a guide of mine. I connect with them through meditation, and I have a bunch of different guides, guys, and I connect with angels. And I'm going to talk about this because it's totally freaking normal. And if you resonate with it, thanks for being here. If you don't, that's okay. If you want to skip over this and it makes you uncomfortable, by all means, go ahead. But for those who resonate with this, just know that there is a lot of support in the ethers that is here to support you when you set the intentions to connect with those who are of highest vibration, who are here to see you succeed, want you to be abundant, want you to be prosperous, want you to be happy, joyful, and in your highest timeline. When they come forward, it reflects in your life, and you're able to move in a way that's not making you feel like you're stuck all the time. It's like you're progressing forward in all aspects, not just one. And sometimes those aspects aren't full, you may not be fully aware of them until you're going through it. So this particular guide, her name is, well, I call her Sarai, like Sahara. It's like Sahara desert, but like, so when I was connecting with her, she was talking about how it's really important for people to kind of sit down and think of writing up a report. If you can remember the date and time something like this happened, write it down. Then go into detail about what were the events, who was involved, okay, what happened. Once you get to the what happened, then you kind of start getting to the uncomfortable questions of like, how did you feel when what was said that brought up a feeling? What was that feeling? And if you can't figure out that feeling, there are feeling charts that you can get on Pinterest, on Google. Just check out a chart while you do this and just sit with the feelings chart and kind of like go down it and just connect with that and see what comes up for you, because I get the feeling of there's more than just feeling sad, happy, gloomy, angry. There's an array of emotions, and we only have so many words for them. Even in the English language compared to the Spanish language, it expands out, and Spanish sounds so different too. It has so much emotion behind it. And English is like settled down in a way where like the emotion, the heart of it, doesn't have the same vibrancy or frequency of when I hear Spanish songs or I speak in Spanish. This is why I say this. And for my Spanish speakers out there, I know you know what I'm talking about. But going back to what Sahara was telling me is it's really important to connect with the heart if you have the ability to as well. Because sometimes just getting that report out is like, okay, you're getting this stuff out mentally. Once you got it all on paper and it's there and it's written and you have it clearly on paper and you wrote down all this, then it's creating a little bit of space in your heart. And people can do this differently. It's like placing your hands over your heart, feeling what's going on, and just asking yourself the hard questions like, okay, this person said this. I felt like, what is this? What does this feel? I felt this tightness on my heart and this boiling sensation. Okay, I felt anger, I felt frustration, but most of all, I felt offended. I felt naked. I felt uneasy. I felt frustrated. Like, connect with all of those feelings and get them out of you. There's a hair on me. And once you get them out of you, and you have it on paper, are you allowing them to come up and just feel? And how do you release? Do you release through dance? Do you release through a walk? Do you release through the writing? Do you release through singing? Do you release through crying? Do you release through talking with somebody that you trust? There needs to be of letting the emotions arise and releasing them out. And it's not always just stomping them down or downplaying them as it's whatever. They always do this, it's okay. No, it's time that you make space so that you can feel them and release them. Emotions are energy. Find ways that they move out of you. If you can think of happiness, like when you're happy, you're dancing, you're having a good time, it's easy to move it out. Like when you're happy, you're complimenting people, you're touching them, you're just laughing, you're having a good time. when you're angry, how do you get that out? Do you go for a run? Do you dance? Do you sing it out? Do you pray on it? Like, how do you get it out of you? Because some people are good at being angry and just shutting down. And I can attest to this. When I was having difficult times in my younger years, I would shut down because I felt like nobody's going to listen to me. Why am I going to open my mouth? Why am I going to express how I feel if nobody's there to listen? But it's important to express it, whether it be in writing, whether it be through spoken word, whether it be through paint or art, which I did do a lot of painting and art. And that's one way I got my emotions out. I didn't realize that me not talking created that space for me to create art to express out. But there is an importance of using your words when doing this, especially with people that you feel like you trust and love and have your best intentions at heart. But always know that you have to have your best intentions at heart first before you seek others, because I feel like some people can, without, like, I heard this saying one time, people are going to have their best intentions for you, but what are your best intentions for yourself? And see if they align and let that guide you. Because sometimes we think that people want the best for us, but we don't realize that it's really being clear about what's best for ourselves first. And then we know how to align outside of ourselves with who can bring that. And there's nothing wrong with getting perspectives. There's nothing wrong with opening up. It's just, I know that there's going to be people at different levels in life and consciousness and awareness and experiences. So I'm talking in general for everybody. If you feel like you have your solid group, your sounding board where you can talk to, open up, and they receive that energy and they have the room to receive it, open up in a way that you can so that you can get that guidance. If you feel like you don't have that group and you don't feel like you have that sense of vulnerability or that level of vulnerability, is it because you haven't allowed it to get there? Or is it because in no way, shape, or form are they showing you that they can do it? That's different. So then it's about, seeking other things like there's speech therapy, talk therapy. That's a really good one. Do you have the capability of getting a therapist? Wherever you are in life, I mean, I have friends, they will listen to me talk. I will talk to my husband just to get things out of me. Even if you have to talk it out to yourself, there has to be an expression done so that you're able to hear. Sometimes when I say things, even before I was recording this video, I was like going over the dream in my head. But once I started recording and hearing myself talk about the dream, I started to think about different aspects that I didn't think about before and look up some information to share with you guys today. Oh my God, it's already 18 minutes and I didn't mean to be this long, but here's the thing. The eyelash viper was yellow. Again, solar plexus. This is your emotions. Pay attention to your emotions the next 3 to 5 months. Aside from the next 3 to 5 months, also pay attention to how your nervous system is reacting to people, to their words, to their actions, and pay attention because there's an uplevelment. This is your body speaking to you and it's going to start to get louder. So it's really, really important that you pay attention to how those upgrades are coming in. And because of it being a neurotoxin, it really, really hits the lymphatic system. So if you notice swelling and stuff like that, it's a keen awareness of things that need to be brought up and addressed within yourself. So it's funny because even before I connected the two, this is something that came to me today. I was like, oh my God, I've been so focused on my lymphatic system lately. Like I've been looking up massages to like drain it out literally, and also like exercises, like finding out how it actually drains in the system, where it's located. So like I've been purposely massaging myself and ways to allow for this lymphatic fluid to flow out of me and get out and not just build up, because if you have too much lymph liquid, you swell up. just like the Viper bite. And I did not freaking connect that till today. So that was pretty exciting that I get to share this aspect of it too, guys. So like I'm still integrating this information. Like there's levels to this. It's never just like one size fits all. The more you find something, there's levels to go in depth. But what I want to do is at least give you the awareness of what's coming in. And then as far as the hemostatic, the flow of the blood, this is going to be activations, DNA activations. And this is going to be like things within you being activated, lit up, that have been dormant for a while as you do the work. So as you show up for yourself, as you allow for your emotions to have space to be felt, released, and so that you can replenish yourself in your system and call back your sovereignty, there's going to be this transformation that is happening within you, and it's going to reflect outside of you. Again, this is like shedding of old skin, but it's happening internally and externally at the same time. But you have to be aware of what's happening inside of you to really take on this transformation. Things are going to be shaken up. But again, a snake sheds its skin in healthy environments. So create the healthy environment for you. They have to have moisture. They have to be hydrated. They have to be fed well. How are you taking care of you through this? Because this is something that's hitting people at different angles, at different degrees, wherever you're at. And it's not just like something that's going to be for a week or two. This is 3 to 5 months. So this is going to be a good transformation to take you on going forward. And the other aspect of this, because I wrote down some notes, so let me get being calm. Being calm is key. Think about when a snake bites you and the venom is spreading through your system. If you're freaking out, your heart is pumping, it's full of fear. Don't let fear get in the way of you making those big changes. Because in all honesty, like, fear is just sometimes not fully understanding something. So don't be afraid if there's going to be misinterpretations, misunderstandings within the people that are having reactions to your words, or you having reactions to their words. Sometimes things get lost in translation. You may interpret something wrong, but your system picks up in it where it like just shifts things up, but it activates that transformation. And it's about not allowing for fear to stop you from experiencing it. It's more of being open and being curious and being vulnerable within yourself and allowing that space first so that you're able to walk through it in a way with this sense of awareness, with this sense of flow and ease. And not just flow and ease, but what I want to say is like, it's really, really important to go within, connect with the heart. I burped, so I know something released, so that was a good thing. To really connect with the heart and just allow. Like, surrender a little bit. I know it's going to get uncomfortable. Sometimes growth shows up in really funky ways. But one thing I've learned through my life path journey is it's in the most uncomfortable moments that you learn the most. And you learn most about yourself. You learn most about how you handle situations. What can you do? My husband has always said, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it's true. Like, the more I started to do that, like, I had to get comfortable with saying the most uncomfortable things during my sessions because they're important. I have to put myself out of the way so that those words of healing can come through. As well as like me in my personal life, I had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, I had to get comfortable with stretching at the gym in ways that may not look the best, but who cares? It's for me, it's for my body. I had to get comfortable with doing what I needed to do to make sure that I was fully immersed in my craft, regardless of what people would think, regardless of how I would be perceived, because how people perceive me, it's none of my business. I'm not going to say my feelings didn't get hurt in the process or maybe this and that, but in all honesty, I learned to just let that go, because at the end of the day, what matters most is what I think about myself. What matters most is what is my intention. I want growth, I want transformation, I want change. And because I asked for that, I'm fully aware that it comes in uncomfortable stages, but it also comes in these beautiful revelations of being more in tune with my frequency, being more in tune to my soul, being more in tune to my truth, which allows me to know what isn't for me. So it's gonna be bumpy, but I swear, guys, it's meant to help you. It's meant to really get you to gravitate more inside and be more of you. And the more you resist it, the more friction there's gonna be. And that's when it gets really, really hard, and some people can't seem to navigate or find their way out. And if that's you, that's okay. Just breathe a little bit, create some space. And if you see that somebody's going through that, maybe give them this pointer, send them this video, or open up about your experience of what you've heard, share. But I get it, some people aren't always open to it, and that's okay. Just be nice. Or not just be nice, be kind. You don't gotta be nice. You can be kind and still have boundaries. Being in tune with your honesty. I I like to say I'm a kind bitch. I'm being in tune clearly, honestly. Being in tune clearly, honestly. I'm a kind bitch. I have boundaries, but I do love people and I love everybody. And I don't know if I'm going to keep this in there, but that's how I describe myself sometimes, but it's whatever. I'm just keeping it real. But I guess what I want to say aside from that is through this process, there's going to be a lot of back and forth, kind of questioning, but it's good questioning. It's meant to have you reflect. It's meant to have you go back in. Okay guys, so I finally had a chance to start editing the video, and in the process of editing the video, I was sitting down and kind of like, oh my god, this was longer than what I expected. But there was one subject I wanted to touch on, and that's regarding the venom. When it enters into the bloodstreams, the venom particles are thicker than what your system will allow to flow. This is why it slows down the blood. This is why swelling happens with the nervous system. Like, understand that it's meant to come in slowly to activate things for you guys. So as long as you're in a state of calmness, you're receiving these activations that will help you and propel you forward into your sovereignty, into your alignment, into a space where you are letting go of what is no longer serving you, where you are being activated with things that are within your blood and releasing things that are not serving you anymore. So I'm hearing like, you know, if it's generational things that have been programmed, it's like this is subtly coming in to help that, to make it come up so that you can let it go. If it's things with like not being clear, not being able to make decisions from a space where it's heart-centered and you're just more up in the brain, it's like, no, this is forcing you to go into spaces that you normally would not go into and make a decision that feels right to you. This is again feeling back in to what is going to serve you. This is meant to put you on the right path. So understand that this venom is here to activate things within you. And sometimes that activation isn't the most comfortable because it's going to move stuff out of your life. When chaos happens, when it's a little bit unsteadily, it means it's breaking down things to clear your path. And sometimes those things that are meant to be broken and cleared out, maybe things that we're trying to hold on. So if you can just understand that the venom is here to activate things within you, to activate things within others, in each other. And it's meant to bring truths up that we've kept buried for so long, that need or programming is just, it's really here to uproot the things within the blood and our nervous system that we kept shoving down, that now need to rise up and be made attention to. It's gonna get uncomfortable, it might get a little messy, but if you can move with the knowing within your heart and within your being that like, hey, I know it's not gonna be the most comfortable ride, it's gonna get uncomfortable, but that's where you grow the most. And so I just wanted to make sure I added this on here while I was editing, because I didn't mention the DNA activations that were going to come in with this, and it's meant to help bring back that sovereignty within yourself. So as you're giving yourself space, as you're calling back your power, as you are taking care of you, this helps the flow of that medicine to come in easier. But if you're resisting, if you're fighting, sometimes it gets hard to the point where you're tired and all you have nothing to do but is to surrender. And some people are really good at doing that and other people aren't. It is where you're at, and just give yourself a little bit of grace. Give yourself some peace and give yourself some love through the process. It's meant to come in to support you in all aspects, not just one, but I wanted to make sure I shared this. It went for my feet, but when I awoke, the energy was in the heart. It rushed at me at the feet, which is foundations, which leads me to support systems, because the feet, the body, support the body, but the transformation energy came in through the heart. If you're seeing different systems in your life change that connected to your heart, friendships, family, and loved ones again, know that this is how the medicine of the eyelash viper is coming in. Why is this happening now? It is needed to clear the path of many, to align all within clearly, so that they may move from a foundation within themselves that is sturdy and deeply knowing what is and is not for them. Again, I totally forgot about this. I'm reading this out now. I had channeled this last time and I was just like, okay, cool. And as I'm like sitting here and talking and it's just like kind of flowing out and I'm connecting the dots. And again, I'm being shown like the image of the viper, the yellow eyelash viper. Like, this viper has horns on top of his head. And this is another aspect. Like, I was talking about this, I think, in a different clip. But these horns are above the eye and they don't really understand what they're for. They're like elongated scales, and they say it's supposed to help when they're like slithering through trees or the foliage. It's kind of like to protect their eyes, is what they say. But in all honesty, when I think of antennas, especially during Reiki, like, you have these chakras right here. And I like to always like see them as a crown of roses, or sometimes on some people, they're like little antennas, they pick up on stuff. So like, this is gonna have you be picking up on things differently. So if your antennas are like opening up and you have some minor chakras like around the eyes by your eyebrow too, like, this is meant to open you up in new ways. This medicine is here for you. It's here to support you. It's here to bring in awareness, transformation, death and rebirth. Like, this snake medicine, as in general, like, if you just want to Google it, do your own research off to the side, it's a very transformative medicine. Because again, snakes, though they have this like I think in like movies, they snakes on a plane, they make them all scary, anaconda, like all this stuff. Like, I feel like media makes them be a lot more scary than they actually are naturally. And I just started to learn this because my husband is an enthusiast of snakes. He loves the information, so I learned through him. I'm getting over those fears because snakes always scare me. Like, I'm like, I'm not gonna touch it. But when I have meditations or I'm in the dream space, they hit me differently. In the physical space, like, I would always be so timid because of the things I was conditioned to believe about the snakes. But I'm deprogramming myself and I'm starting to understand, like, even the vipers, they will not bite you unless you torment them or you're over there. They feel a sense of like you're gonna come after them. They are not super deadly. It's just, you have to have a sense of awareness and know how to maneuver through things. So again, I'm working through the fear of snakes in this physical realm. In the spiritual realm, in the astral realm, I commune with them. But in the physical realm, it's like, whoa, shoot, if I see a snake in public, I'm gonna run the other way. But I know that when it shows up in the ways that it shows up in those spaces, it's because it's trickling into the physical in a different way. I share that just for people who may be afraid and are like, what is she talking about snakes? Like, snakes are deadly, snakes are this, especially a viper. Like, what is she talking about? Like, spirit has a very magical way of coming in and sharing information in a way that may cause a sense of fear, but it's meant to bring attention to it. Like, if you know, like, why would I dream of that? It's to grab your attention. What better way to get a message across when you get in a very uncomfortable spot with with something that in waking life terrifies you. Or if you do love it, it brings this frequency of love in. It's just different for everybody. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's just really creating space, again, going within and interpreting in a way where you're not crossing the wires or allowing fear to try to explain something to you. Because fear, all it is a misunderstanding. If that's what I'm really getting through with my personal life. Every time I've experienced fear in my life, it's like, it's just me misunderstanding the experience. Like, oh my God, this is another thing. Like, I feel like this energy is here to transform the way that we see fear as well, because we're doing things that are not, they used to be so, like, we wouldn't even allow ourselves to, like, speak up, to have this conversation, to do this, show ourselves, be out there, be like, this is me. Like, no, we're transforming that. Our relationship with fear is having us have a sense of understanding that it's just misunderstanding. And the more information that you can get, the more you can understand something in a different way, that it's not having you just like put up this block or this wall and not experience it. Like, for instance, I've always been so fearful of snakes, but as I got to learn more, especially through like documentaries, watching my husband see him on TV and him sharing his information, like I realized like they're not bad. It's just what media wants me to see them as. Like, I'm a little kid watching Anaconda having nightmares and nobody's there explaining to me like, oh, that's not a real, snakes can be that big, but they don't do that. This is what they do. They don't attack like that unless provoked. Like, nobody explained that. So like all my life, all my childhood, all my teenage years, until like I met my husband, who actually took the time to explain things to me, and I was just like, oh, I had a misunderstanding this whole time. But I'm still working the levels of deprogramming myself and taking that program that's been running in the background for so long, unaware of me not just educating myself because I was too afraid to even look at a picture of a snake or to even experience a snake in the physical, and slowly but surely transgressing through those uncomfortable moments, again getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, will allow you for these moments of revelation and expansion and deeper understanding. So I say all this to say, like, really dig in, guys. Dig in and get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because it's important during this time. And the other aspect of this is, again, the relationship with fear is transforming. And I feel like for me, as I am expanding my gifts, as I am expanding my craft, as I am putting myself in situations where I'm allowed to be seen, I'm getting comfortable with being uncomfortable with things that I have been afraid of to do for a very long time. I'm not letting fear get in the way anymore, because it doesn't serve me. It keeps me stagnant. I do not grow, and I stay with that same mentality. Again, being a little kid carrying that same fear for so long stunted my understanding of how amazing snakes can be and how much they contribute to the world and how they are in the circle of life, contributing in so many levels. Whether or not I feel safe or unsafe, they're going to be here. And same thing to you. Whether you feel safe or unsafe, you're going to be here and you're part of that circle too. So how do you want to show up? How do you want to transform, be a part of life, and expand in a way that is natural for you? Think about it. I know I just asked a bunch of questions, so if you have the space to ask yourself those things now, maybe reflect a little bit, it's for a reason. Before this is over, or to stick in this video, is the declaration that Archangel Ariel gave to me to share with you guys, so that you can take this and use it in your personal life, okay? And it says, I am calling my sovereignty back from all spaces, times, dimensions, and aspects of myself that I relinquished or released unknowingly. I claim my sovereignty over my body, mind, emotions, and light body and spirit. I call upon my soul's origin to assist me with this on all levels, and I release what does not serve or was never mine to carry. In its place, I call in the frequencies of support, clarity, love, and guidance of the highest. And so it is. And so it is. Have a good night. Have a good day wherever you are in the world. I wish you so much love, so much abundance, and so much transformation during the season. If this resonated with you, please leave a comment below. If you feel like your friends are going through this, or a loved one or a family, send them this video, please. We're not in this alone. I feel like we're all going through some stuff sometimes, and it's nice to know that we're not alone. And it's important to kind of have some steps to help ourselves. So remember, be gentle with yourself, stay calm, and find places where you feel safe in order to allow for your emotions to arise. Much love, much thanks. Bye for now.